Hi, I'm Alex. I have Chris with me today. We are going to walk you through the Happy Half course and call out any specific intersections that need a little more attention and anything that we think that you might need to know ahead of the race this weekend. So I have the map pulled up here. Let me zoom in a little bit, a little too far. So we'll start at the corner of High Street and Fountain. The first two blocks, Limestone and Spring Street, are closed or monitored by police officers, so we won't have to worry about anything there. Our first intersection that will be monitored by our volunteers is going to be High Street and York Street, which is right here. And there is a little bit of a call out here. This is where Cricket and Marcia will be. Let me get to the street view here. So this is High Street and turned around. And this is York Street. Runners will be heading east on High Street in this lane. And the reason that there's a call out here is because this lane is also the straight lane. The city of Springfield has asked us, they will be putting up cones for runners to stay to the left side, but they've asked us to make sure that drivers here know to move over. So we'll need somebody right here to make sure drivers kind of avoid that lane. And then anybody turning from York Street onto High Street, know that they should not be turning into that lane. Like I said, it's going to be clearly marked. So everybody should be aware of it. It'll be 7 in the morning, so there shouldn't be too much traffic, but that's our first call out there. So we'll go back to the map. And it's pretty much the same thing here at East and High. So this is where Kim, Lisa, Chantama, and Will be. And it's the same thing. We're going to have to watch drivers turning from East Street onto High Street, making sure that they don't turn into the runner lane there, and making sure runners stay on the left side in the coned off area. The city has asked if we can let runners and walkers know that they can use the sidewalk, and by all means, if they're more comfortable using that, then absolutely let them know that they can go up on the sidewalk. So our next intersection is High Street and Greenmount. That's where Patrice, Meredith, and Mary are. All they're going to do there is let them know to turn onto Greenmount, which will be closed, which is very nice. So no real big callouts there. At Greenmount and Main Street, that's where Mandy, Britt, and Brylan will be. Same thing. It's just going to be closed, making sure that runners stay on the left side of the road. There will be a police officer here, so they'll be watching traffic for you as well. And again, this is about a mile in, so it won't be very long that you're watching here, but just make sure that they run on the left side of the road when they turn. Okay, so the next one is Main Street and Simon Kenton Trail. This is where the marples are. The main thing that they want to watch out here is just for people that are using the trail at the time. Again, it should be pretty early, but if there's anybody that's trying to cross in, just make sure that they know that there's a race going on and to hold up crossing until the race is by. This one I will pull up Street View at Main Street and Lagunda. This is where Suzanne, Leslie, and Preston will be. So Main Street, they're turning across Main Street from the left side onto the left side of Lagunda. Sorry, that's a little blurry. I think my internet's being a little bit slow right now. But essentially, we will need one person here blocking traffic coming this way, making sure that they don't cross into where our runners will be crossing. Same thing on this side. So we'll need another person this way. And then one other person here, just making sure that people don't turn in front of where runners will be crossing. We will be providing the yellow signs that say race in progress. So that will help alert traffic to stop. So they'll be crossing to the left. Not sure why that hasn't buffered yet, but we'll go back here. Crossing to the left side of Lagunda. Down here will be Jenny and Jason. They'll be crossing from the left side of Lagunda across Columbia and then stay on the left side of Lagunda. The main part where you're going to watch there is people turning from Columbia onto Lagunda. Again, it's very early in the morning. It's very early in the race. Shouldn't be much traffic, but just a watch out there. The next place where we have volunteers is Warder Street, and I will pull up Street View here. This is where Cassidy and Brooklyn are. So Lagunda crosses two parts of Warder Street. So the first person, so if Cassidy or Brooklyn is here, just making sure that nobody turns from Lagunda onto Warder there while runners are crossing. Obviously, if there are no runners or walkers, they can go, no problem. And then same thing here as you get a little further down. Drivers can turn right from Lagunda onto Warder there. So just making sure that they hold for a little bit while people are crossing the intersection there. Okay, so the course will come up to Sherman and turn left. It's a pretty standard intersection. They'll go from the left of Lagunda to the left of Sherman. Again, if they need to use the sidewalk, absolutely more than welcome to. This is where Katie, Emma, Aiden, and Jade will be. So they'll turn to the left side of Sherman, run down, run across the bridge, and then turn left onto Buck Creek Trail. This is where Shannon, Brent, Maddie, and Brennan will be. Just make sure that you're watching for traffic coming from the west to the east on Sherman and making sure that runners know to turn onto the trail there. There's a bit of like overgrowth there, so it's not super easy to see, but just let them know to turn there. So then there's a little bit of a break on the trail until Water Street. This is where Amy, Devin, Darlene, and Macy will be. It's a very quiet intersection, but very easy, just making sure that cars stop going either way, crossing the trail there when runners are coming. And again, we want to emphasize the course is not closed, but we don't want runners or walkers to have to stop and wait for traffic. Obviously, if somebody is not going to stop, if they're being a little bit reckless, alert the runners. But from our experience in this race, the very, very, very large majority of people will stop. So they will follow along Buck Creek Trail here. So there's a split here I want to pull up. So as the trail goes toward the art museum, there's a split. They could go right and they could go left. We want them to stay on the trail and go left. So this is where the Schweitzer family is. All you're going to be doing is making sure you can almost block off this section of the trail here and making sure they go under the overpass there to stay on the trail and go back through Cliff Park. And then I'm going to follow the trail here to our next intersection, which is where Mike and Gina Johnson will be. So they'll follow this trail here, run along Buck Creek. And then there's another split here. Just making sure that there's no confusion on another split. So you can see it splits there. Just making sure that they stay along there and run behind the art museum. So when they get past the art museum, there's a turn here at Cliff Park Road. That can be a little bit tricky. So you can see the trail runs out onto Cliff Park Road. We want runners to make that sharp left onto the trail. They're not going to run on the road yet. So if I back up a little bit, you can see runners will see this as they're coming toward Cliff Park Road. We don't want them to run out onto the road. We want them to turn. I guess I have to go here with Google and stay on the left side here. So let me look to see who is there. That will be Melanie, Emily Johnson, and Sue Zicafus will be at that intersection. So you want to make sure that runners know to turn here. So where you want to be positioned is going to be basically at the end of the trail there, making sure that runners stay on the trail to go this way. This road will be closed, so there won't be any traffic that you have to worry about, but make sure that they run on the trail. Because then, once they get to the end of Cliff Park Road, they're going to do a U-turn. That's where Nick Nightswinger and John Lynch will be. National Trails will be setting out barricades for you guys there. So if they can be positioned a little bit in the shape of a U, just so runners know to turn from the trail and then U-turn back onto the left side of Cliff Park Road, which they will run back on. There's a water station there that will be on that side. So then when they get down to Fountain Avenue, which is where the Catholic Central track team will be, they'll turn left onto the left side of Fountain Avenue. Another standard turn. You'll just have to make sure that cars coming south on North Fountain will know of the runners that are approaching. As they head north on Fountain, they'll turn left onto West College. That's where Chris and Brittany Dema will be. Same thing, just make sure that they stay on the left side of College. They will run down to, this is where Maggie and Cody Sarensen will be, making sure that they cross appropriately from College onto Wittenberg from the left side to the left side. So again, it's not going to be much traffic there, but just watch out for both ways of traffic because they will be crossing the street. Then as they go down into Wittenberg's campus, right here at the fountain, they'll go right onto Campus Drive. And that is where, sorry, let me make sure that we're good there. That's where Brittany and Kara will be. So just making sure that runners turn right instead of left. They go up probably the steepest hill on the course past Weaver Chapel. Wittenberg police is very aware. I believe that they're going to be closing down this area. So
they're gonna close off East Campus Drive on Friday night, so that would be clear of all cars.
Awesome. So they'll be running up here. It is a little bit steep, so you'll see runners not looking forward to that part. Once they get up here, although it is very, very nice to look at. Once they get up here, they'll turn left onto Bill Edwards. This is where Mike and Terry Murphy will be. We're also going to have a Wittenberg Tiger inflatable football head that they're going to run through. The athletic department is organizing that. So that'll be a nice little reward for runners as they get to the top of the hill. Runners will turn from the left side of Bill Edwards onto the left side of Lowry. This is where Amy and Sean Kelly will be. Again, they're going to cross in front of where potential traffic would be. So as long as you're watching both ways of traffic, holding up your signs, we should be good there. Then we're going to get to McCrite. That's where Andrew and Scott Hackett will be. I know Andrew has volunteered for, I think, every happy half. So you're aware of how to stop the traffic and hold up signs. Both ways on McCray. It is a little bit busier of an intersection, but that early in the morning, we should be okay. They're going to go up to 2nd Street. That's where John and Mick will be crossing Lowry again across traffic. So you'll have to watch both ways, making sure that they stay on the left side of 2nd Street. Chris and I actually ran a lot of this course the other day. There's a pretty big pile of gravel there. So just making sure that they're aware to go around that if that's still there. Just calling that out. It's not a very busy street, 2nd Street, so just making sure that they're good there.
Yeah, and that gravel pile was on the left side of the road,
right?
But there was plenty of space on the right to get around, and probably for a car to get around to if they needed to. But it's a good call out for everybody to be aware.
Yep. So then, as they get to Pythian, that's where the Conroys and Nathan Tate will be. They're going to be turning left from the left side onto the left side of Pythian, running up into Ridgewood. They're going to be turning left onto Brighton, which I believe, let me make sure before I say, that's where the Purnells will be. So making sure that they kind of take that diagonal left onto Brighton. We will be marking the trail. I should have called this out before, but we will be marking the trail the day before the race with directional signage, so that they know where to go, along with volunteers telling them where to go. So Purnells will be there. They're going to be running on the left side. Down here is going to be Pat and Melissa Tian, making runners turn right onto Walnut Terrace. Then at Harding, we're going to have the Tremps, Brian and Stelly and Maloney, and the Holberts that are going to be watching Harding Road here, and then making sure that runners take the left side of the fork here and stay onto Walnut Terrace. I know that you're all familiar with this area here, so that shouldn't be a problem. Again, making sure they're running against traffic on the left side. Down here onto Dover, it's going to be the, again, turning left onto the left side. And then they're going to loop down when they cross South Broadmoor. That is where I believe, double check. Yeah, so Molly and Nancy Tian will be right here. When they cross Oak Knoll, we'll cross South Broadmoor, watching both ways of traffic there. Going through Ridgewood that early in the morning, there shouldn't be much traffic, but just watching out there. As we come up onto North Broadmoor, this is where the Lohr family will be spread out along these intersections. They're going to be running on the north side of North Broadmoor. I know you're very familiar with that street, so just making sure that traffic stays to one side, runners stay to the left side. As we get to where Broadmoor turns into Kensington and crosses Fountain, we do have a police officer that will be here, but this is where Wendy Schaefer and family will be. So starting here at Broadmoor, where it would turn into South Broadmoor, but you go straight instead. making sure that runners go straight this way across Fountain. So somebody here on both sides, making sure that traffic is alerted to runners there. And then across the street, that's where Julie Valentine is going to be, making sure that runners go on South Kensington instead of North Kensington. As they get to Limestone, that's where we have another police officer. So we're going to come down South Kensington. On the map, it looks a little confusing, but runners will go down South Kensington to Simon Kenton Trail and turn left. So they're going to head north on the trail first. This is where our first group of Springfield girls soccer will be, and now cross country as well. There's going to be a pretty large group helping out there. So just making sure that they turn left onto the trail. Up at Red Coach is where they're going to turn right, and this is a little tricky, so I'm going to pull up the street view here. So they're going to come off the trail. Let me back it up here. Come off the trail. This is where Gretchen Rinkowitz is, and they're going to turn right, and they're going to stay. Well, my map won't let me click over there. They're going to stay on the right side of Red Coach. The city is going to mark off this lane because they are running on the right side. So you'll see cones there, but just make sure you're positioned to where traffic can be alerted coming this way, and runners know to turn right and stay right on the right side of the road here. There is a sidewalk if people need it again, but just wanted to call that out. And then same here at Balsam and Red Coach. And that is where, let me double check there. That is where Kay Sample and her granddaughter Nora will be. Same thing. They're going to be turning from the right side to the right side there, and they're going to be marking that off as well. The city will be. So you'll see that, just making sure that runners turn and know to stay on the right side. So make sure you call that out as they're approaching you. They're going to turn onto Rensselaer here, which is where they're going to turn back onto the left side of the road. So from the right of Balsam to the left of Rensselaer, that's where Kathy and Michael Kaler will be. They're going to run down Rensselaer onto Rebecca. This is where Mike Calabrese and his granddaughter will be. Cross Rebecca onto the left side. Turn left onto Zeller. That's where Ann Smith will be. Left side of Zeller up to Balsam. That's where PJ Murphy and his kids will be. They're going to run on the left side of Balsam. And then here, I'm going to pull up Street View again. This is where another Springfield High School girls soccer team will be. They're going to have cones in this lane, and we will have a police officer at this intersection in front of where you turn into the high school. However, where you turn left here, you're going to want to make sure that they stay in this left lane. It will be blocked off, but it's Home Road is a very busy street in Springfield. So there will be, especially at that point in the race, there will be much more traffic than what there has been for the rest of the race. So just making sure that drivers approaching this way know that there's a race that they need to get over. They need to stop. Like I said, there's going to be a police officer here stopping traffic, but just making everybody aware of where to turn, and a little more awareness for drivers never hurt. So they're going to turn from this left lane of Home Road across to this side of the high school drive, and then they're going to run on this side. Sorry, the street view is not on that side. But I want to zoom in up here because this is all monitored by the girls soccer team. So they're going to turn from this side. They're going to turn up this driveway here and head back by Roosevelt. Let's see. No, street view doesn't go back there. Pull up the map. So they're going to go past the first turnaround at Roosevelt. They're going to go back here by that little pond area in between Simon, Kenton, and Roosevelt. Go in front of Roosevelt and then loop around, stay on Kensington, and head back here. There are a few places where I've sent out to have volunteers. And like I said, there's going to be cross country and soccer monitoring this area. So if you could just spread out people in that area that aren't working at the water table, that'd be awesome. So they will run on the left side of Kensington, turn left onto Simon Kenton Trail, and head back toward downtown. This is where the Price family will be at Mitchell. Traffic will be coming from both ways. This is an intersection we've done before with our previous course. So just making sure that traffic is made aware that there's a race and to stop there as runners approach. Same thing with our next one, which is Lagunda, right here. This is where Catholic Central women's soccer team will be as well. They'll be running a water table here, but a few of the workers will be in the intersection, making sure that traffic slows down for runners there. Then as we get to these last intersections, Warder is where Darcy, Ryan, and sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the last one. Darcy and Brandy will be. It's not a very busy intersection, and the trail just crosses it right here. Just making sure that traffic either way stops when runners are coming. And then when the trail hits Main Street, pull the street view here. From here on, the remaining central volunteers will be from here, from the trail. They're going to turn right. This lane will be marked, so they'll have cones from here until the finish line on Main Street, making sure they turn from the trail to the right side of Main Street. So there will be a group of volunteers there. At Lagunda, same thing. There are stop signs, Sycamore, Water Street. I believe the next one is not marked there, but I believe it's Foster. Yep. Foster there. Those will all have to have somebody at it just to make sure that people at the stop signs aren't turning in front of runners as they're coming. Just to wait an extra second. It will be very spread out by then. So it'll be very few and far between for traffic, but just making sure that if there is a car, they wait until the runners are by. Spring Street, Limestone, and Fountain will all have police officers at them. We will have the right lane and the parking lane closed through the finish line. So no need for volunteers there. And then our finish line is at the Madonna of the Trail, basically at the corner of Main Street and Fisher Street. So if you finish your intersection early and you still want to help out, absolutely come down to the finish line, help pass out medals, waters, fruit, key drop off, all that kind of stuff. Our post-race ceremony is at Mother Stewart's Brewery, which is right across the street, right across Columbia, right here. You can see the parking lot there. But absolutely come down, support the runners, support the race. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you very much for helping out. We are beyond grateful for the amount that we get every single year. I think that this year we have the most ever again, which we say every year. But thank you again. And we look forward to seeing you this weekend. Thanks.
Thank you.
Cool. It's
Bang.
recording.
Nice.